Welcome to another episode of For Real Talkers. I'm Bobby,
And I'm Jen.
I'm Catman.
and we are live in Harlem at K&L Studio.
Yay, Harlem
Yeah.
So
World.
today we wanted to speak with Kat because we wanted to get a man's perspective
Hmm.
on, you know, what's going on with the black culture.
Right,
All the other cultures seem to marry their ladies, but the
right.
black people,
Yes.
we just, we have very low percentages for marrying our women at young ages, like in our 30s.
Hmm.
What is that? Now, I'm sure that there's a whole lot of different reasons why, but the one reason that I wanted to talk about, because I've been hearing from men that they say women don't make them feel needed. The black women,
Really?
we don't make them feel needed.
Mm.
So,
Interesting.
what's going on with that? How do you feel about that, Kat? Can you shed some light on this?
Yes, I'm hurt. I'm hurt. No, what happens? Started in the late '80s, going into the '90s. I did my own little research, and what
Okay.
happened is because of that totem pole of corporate America, they at some point they wanted to put the black woman in front of us to
Okay.
put us further down, and then they throw in the bilingual, so that way you got the Spanish man, the Spanish woman, then the black woman over top. So once you women became independent, self-reliant, that whole age of the women's movement, like I don't need a man. See, so
Ooh,
then that takes
okay.
away the whole fabric of the black family by saying I don't need a man. I'm independent. So well, that right there, it diminishes the black man right there just because of that. So it's a catch 22
Okay.
to it.
Hmm.
See, so you women, you damned if you do be corporate and be independent, and then you could be damned if you don't.
Hmm.
Okay.
So it's a catch 22 to it. But what it is it goes to the spirituality of the individual. I had a professor that we took African American studies, and it's Kaba, Dr. Kaba. How you doing? And he taught me this. This was a part of the system set up to
Hmm.
separate the black family from the
Right,
woman.
right.
So
Mm.
now with this,
Mm.
all these new women movements and the
Hmm.
LGBT community, it's worse and it's getting worser, and
Hmm.
you all getting targeted too. So
Hmm.
with your independence, now they want you to turn to women away
Okay.
from the black man because you
Mm.
don't need a man now.
Ooh, no, now that's not true for
See,
me.
so
Well, Jen, you
that's
agree
what's
with what
going
he?
on.
You? How do you feel about that?
So I don't. So I think they took the terminology of I don't need a man and changed it, because I believe no, you don't need a man to survive because you still will live. But to me, I need and I want a man in my life.
Hmm.
And I came from, a two
Yeah.
parent household who's still married to this day. Hi, Mom. Well, no, I don't want them to, don't say hi. But yeah, I came from two parent household and they're still married. And I
Yes.
always grew up thinking that, that's what I wanted. Like marriage,
Hmm.
court. And I'm so old school because I'm going to say court.
Me
Court
too.
in, and then,
Courting.
we're gonna get married and have that family,
Yes.
and somewhere down the line, and um adding to what you did say, I do
Hmm.
believe um after the 80s, people relationships are throwaway, disposable relationships.
Hmm.
Mm.
Nobody believes in working on it. They believe once, forget it, I'm out of here, and that's it, on to the next.
Hmm.
Back then, you worked on your family, you worked on your marriage, you worked on your relationship,
Hmm.
and instead of just walking away and on to the next. And I mean,
Yes.
now the times have changed. Yes, you are
Drastically.
correct. With you don't need a man, woman empowerment, because I believe in woman empowerment. Because even though my
Okay.
mother and father was married, my mother always, still did her own thing. You know, but my dad, they're together, and that's what I believe. I'm not even going to change that. I am not one of those women. So everybody out there, just no, no. We need you, black men. We love you.
Yes. Yes,
And
we
that's
do.
it.
Yes.
We need each other. We are the
Absolutely.
key
Yes.
to each other.
uh,
It's the oneness of the male and the female coming together in one. That's the whole essence
yeah,
of the black family.
Yes.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so our society has tainted that and they've
Mhm.
Mhm.
destroyed that.
Yeah.
So it's not about family reunion anymore,
Mhm.
Mm.
Nope.
and that's sad.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it takes away from relationships first.
Mhm.
See, because you got an independent woman making her own money, and now she feels that she doesn't need a man because she
Mhm.
can provide for herself.
Mhm.
No, that's not the point. Sure, you can provide for yourself, but you still need that other half of you to be complete. So it's about completion, not being independent. Sure, you can be independent, but if you have two people in a relationship and one is working and the other is working, ends are gonna meet.
Okay.
See, so if she is the quote unquote the number one breadwinner and he's making less money, it's still the combination of the two still makes money together.
Absolutely.
You need each other. Now, when I was married, you know, and I'm looking forward to getting married again.
Okay.
But I'm leasing with option to buy.
Don't extend that lease for too long, because that is part of the problem that we're going to get back to in this.
He
I'm
said,
joking, I'm
Lisa with the
joking.
option to buy. That was hilarious.
I'm traditional. The man's supposed to take care of his woman. My
Okay.
mother and father, my father, God rest his soul, they were together. They both worked.
Okay.
Both of my parents were cooks, certified cooks. My mom worked in the school board. She made meals for 1,200 people a day. We had a menu on our
Okay.
refrigerator. Both of my father and mother both were cooks. So they both worked and they both cooked.
Yeah.
And I became a cook because of that. So I saw the chemistry of how they both worked together as a team,
Good. Good.
you know,
good.
and provided for their family, which was me and my brothers.
So you were able,
team.
you were able to see the teamwork. So
I saw
you were
that.
able to learn a lesson from that. But basically, what all three of us is saying, it sounds like we're saying women, as women, we need a man, right? So we know that, and there are other women who know that, but we're still behaving the same ways as if we don't need a man. A man needs to feel needed. This is what I've
Yes,
been
we
told
do.
from so many men. It's not about, oh, well, I don't need a man. I want a man. And there's a difference. There's a difference to the men. They want to feel needed. And in showing them that you need them, you're showing appreciation. I'm not taking away from women to say that we don't want the men to need us, because we absolutely, women, want to be wanted. We want to be treasured. But a man needs to feel needed. So we were talking about finances as far as, you know, maybe the woman could be the breadwinner, and maybe it's not even her fault that she's the breadwinner, because there was no man around. She had no choice but to take care of the family. Maybe the man, a lot of them might have been in prison or whatever, the situations that you were saying going back to the 80s. She ended up having no choice but to support her family. So we became strong, and that's part of why we may feel like we don't need a man, because we've been doing it all alone. But ladies, I want to challenge you to just get a different thought process. Instead of feeling like, you know, I don't need the man because you've been doing it all along, don't just look at it in dollar and cents, you know, because we need each other far beyond finances. We need each other to be able to demonstrate love. You know, what is love about? What is having compassion? You know, what is about respect in a relationship, building together so that you can leave a mark, a positive mark on these younger people. We know better. We need to start trying to do better. Because if you know better and you're going to continue to do the same thing, then what is the whole point? I don't see the point. I don't.
Absolutely right.
I don't.
And I also believe and was told that a man, yes, he wants to feel needed and he wants to feel appreciated,
Yes.
you know, and sometimes I'm going to speak on me.
Okay.
You don't say it enough. So sometimes they just want to hear it, just like we want to hear it too, you
Yes.
know, that I appreciate you, you know, and show it in those ways. It's more than words, and it's in actions, and just having that communication. So I do believe I agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah. So Kat, can you tell us, you know, in what ways would you like a woman, your wife, to show you that she needs you? Is it just do you want to hear her say, I need you, or you want to see it in her actions, or both? Like, enlighten us.
Actions. It's in the actions.
Okay.
It's number one.
Okay.
If a woman show that in the actions, men can be submissive too. You get a woman that shows a man in her actions that you need him, and you watch how he responds. You can get a man to do anything.
When
You hear me? So I'm telling you, sisters out here, get it together.
No.
Because when you show it in you got to show it in your actions.
Rewind. You could get them to do anything.
Anything?
If we show them that we need them.
You have to show them in your actions.
Okay.
Is that right?
You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? You got to show it. And you can say it, but you got to show it. The things that you do.
Okay.
I agree.
So, you know what? Did you need to say something?
No.
Because he threw out a word that I think most women have a problem with. I heard you say submissive. Did I hear him say
Men
the word
will be.
submissive? Men
Listen.
can be submissive.
They
But-
can?
You talking about giving it up. We'll give up everything. Once a woman tell you they need you, a man, this is the thing about most men, not all men. They will step their game up.
Okay.
Because we don't want to let you down.
Aww.
We're not trying to let you down. You got enough men out here that will tell you what you want to hear
Church.
and have no intentions in doing none of that.
Church.
None.
Church.
Okay.
And then you got another percentage of men that ain't going to let the woman down because he understands the fabric of the black woman and how it's important to make her feel like a queen
Ooh,
in everything
talk.
that she does.
Yes.
Because when
Today.
you make a queen feel good, then already it's going to make a man feel great just to be next to her
Right.
Treat
and
me
be
as
in
a
her
queen,
presence.
Right.
and
See?
I will make you my king. Okay.
Right.
the
But
whole
you know,
thing.
Kat, so you mentioned submissive, that men would be submissive, but I think
He'll be
that
cleaning.
usually
He'll be cleaning. He'll go learn how to do nails. He'll do your hair. If you can't pay for it. He'll go take a class to learn how to do your nails and hair because he can't afford it.
So, but listen, ladies, we tend to have a problem with the word submissive. Like when men speak about their woman being submissive, because that's usually the terminology that we get with the word submissive. Like the woman is supposed to be submissive or submit to her husband, right?
I can tell you.
And-
You should be.
and-
I can
okay.
tell you one
To
thing.
have
though.
your way.
Okay, so let's see if we can define the word submissive, because most of the times when we hear it as a woman, it comes across very negative, and we don't want our man who say he loves us to think that means you come boss us around and control us and tell us what we can and what we cannot do. So I'm gonna give Jen
No, it
a
ain't
chance
about
to
that.
say what she needs to say,
Well-
and then I'm gonna come back.
Hold that thought, because for me, I like the term submissive. Like, really, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't.
Okay.
I don't even feel
That's a
any.
real woman, though.
I don't even have any negative. I don't even think any negative connotation is out. It's actually sexy, but that's another story. That's another episode. But I like it. Like, come on.
I will say this.
Tell me what to do.
For all you women out here. Look, I say for all you women out here that say that you don't need a man and you're independent and all of that, if you be submissive, now you're
Okay.
the breadwinner, and you independent and you do need a man, but along with you being the breadwinner, you still humble yourself as your femininity as a woman and
Okay.
still be submissive. You watch how he steps his game up.
Okay.
And if he ain't got a job, he gonna find one.
Okay, so what if the woman isn't the breadwinner? The man is the breadwinner.
That's
So
when
is
the
that gonna-
woman really needs to be submissive. How you not gonna be submissive to your man?
So wait,
and
you-
you ain't even bringing nothing to the table.
But wait,
except for
hold
this.
up. But
that can't be the only thing.
So wait a minute. Are
That's
we
the only thing
defining
you
the
bring it to the
word?
table?
Are we defining submissive as financial? Like whoever has the most money in the relationship
think
Let me
so.
say this.
is the
No,
person
I
that
gotta
takes
say
the
this.
control?
No, I gotta say this.
No, I don't think.
Or
I don't
The
think
other
that's the
person has to
case.
submit. No, because
Oh, we
I'm
getting-
going to
we
say
getting
this.
deep- we getting
Wait,
deep now.
wait. I just want to say, for me, submissive means to be supportive. Right?
Okay.
It means to be supportive. And when I hear, because I used to have a problem with that word submissive until I studied the Bible years ago. And I look at it from a biblical standpoint. And in order for me to be submissive, a woman to be submissive in God's terminology, is because we're following God's laws and his rules. And he wants the man to love his wife selflessly. Okay, that's how he wants us to love his wife. And when a man is able to do that with his wife, and I'll reduce it to his lady, when he's able to do that, then who's going to have a problem with being submissive to that type of man? Because he has your best interest at heart. Listen, we're going to support you when we get that. We are, aren't we, ladies? I have no problem with being submissive when it comes to that kind of definition. Absolutely. I'm going to be supportive. I'm going to show you how much I need you, how much that I appreciate you. I am going to be willing to be there to put a smile on your face in more ways than one. Okay? Because I know you have my best interest at heart. And
I
in
love
some
this.
ways, as my spouse, as my man, as my partner, you're going to know that there might be certain things that I might be better at than you, right?
Mhm.
So you go ahead and you can take the lead, but you should be smart enough to also say, baby, I'm gonna step aside and let you handle this because you are better at this than me. Now
Right.
that's a true leader right there. And
Right.
I can submit to that, but I ain't gonna submit to no
Okay.
doggone fool. I'm
All
sorry.
right.
But go ahead.
Now it's my turn. Now we'll break it down to you. Okay, it
Okay.
goes like
Yes.
this. All right, so you have a lot of women that are control freaks.
Ooh.
And you got to
Okay.
control everything. You got
Mhm.
to have the last word to say.
Mhm.
And you
Mm.
always got to be right.
Mm.
Now, with me personally, it's two type of women. You got women that are control freaks, and then you got these narcissistic type
Mm.
women that are
Woo!
out here too. And you men have to be careful to women that are control
I
freaks
set up
and
for
are
that one.
narcissistic.
I set
That's not
up.
all women, that's some. So the
Mhm.
worst thing a man could be is in a relationship with a woman that is a control freak. That you can't tell her nothing. She always right, and she gotta always have the last word. Let me say
Woo-hoo.
something to you
Woo-hoo.
women. If you love your man, that's a part of being submissive.
Mhm.
Sometimes let him have the last word.
Right.
Okay.
All they're gonna do is make the sex better in the bedroom.
Even when we know we're
So,
right,
see,
just let them have the
see
last
that
word.
this is what I learned about when I was married. Is this? It's like even if you're not sure about something, don't debate a woman on something that you know just so you want to prove that you right.
Yes.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
And nobody look, and
Mhm.
it goes for both sides.
Yes.
Why you always gotta have the last word? Some
That's
men
true.
are narcissistic
Yes.
and control freaks
Say that
too.
Yes.
again.
And
Say
you
that
brothers
again
need to
though.
check
Say
yourself.
that
Stop trying
Yes.
again.
to control your woman. Support her and let
Woo!
her be what she want to be, and then you get the more out of her by supporting her and not controlling her than you trying to be a control freak and
Yes.
being narcissistic.
Say
Because
that
guys
again.
are out here narcissistic too, and it's
Exactly.
getting ridiculous on both
Ooh,
ends
child.
of the spectrum, and you
Mhm.
can't have no healthy, no happy relationship
Mhm.
when
Mm.
you got control freaks
Mm-mm.
and narcissistic people.
Right.
It's
Yes.
never going to work.
Right.
Absolutely
So
will
the
not.
thing is, you have to humble yourself
Ooh.
and you have to weigh what you got.
Mhm.
So if you got a real good man and you're not willing to be submissive because you want control and
Mhm.
you want to have the last say so
Mhm.
and everything is about you, well, see how long that lasts. See, because
Mhm.
what happens is some other woman is
Mhm.
paying attention and she'll be that submissive woman for him
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
she'll be supportive
Uh huh.
Mhm.
and some women will let a man control them. Just like
Okay.
you got men out here that
Mhm.
will let a woman control them. You
Mhm.
know
Mm.
why?
Mhm.
Because they got so many issues and problems. If they don't let the woman control them, they're gonna mess up the money and everything. I had an uncle like that. He was I love him. God said so. He's not even here no more. But he let his wife control all the money and everything
Cause
because
she
he
knew what to
knew
do.
once he got a drink in him,
He will run amok.
he could start drinking his money up and doing everything in the world that he got no business doing as a married man. So when he got his check, he gave it to his wife, and she gave him what he needed to have. So
Ooh.
she let him mess up some
Mhm.
money a little bit drinking because that's what he did, and she
Mhm.
Okay.
knew
Okay.
how to deal with her man. He
Mhm.
never debated her about, oh, I ain't gonna give you my money. He knew he had a good woman, and the smartest thing he could do is let her control the damn money, so
Yes.
that way that would keep the relationship.
Yes.
And they stayed together to the day he went in the ground. God
Wow.
rest his
Aw.
soul.
God
God
bless
So I'm
bless.
him.
telling you that you got some men out here that
Mhm.
are smart enough
Mhm.
to let a woman control them because the woman is smarter than you, first
Mm.
of all,
Mhm.
Mm.
and she's more organized and structured than you are.
Ooh.
So
And
instead of trying to control that, let it be.
and
Right.
So
listen, let's minimize it a little bit. If you don't want to look at it as letting a woman control you, just be like, she know what I should be doing. So I'm just gonna
Mhm.
back up a little
Mhm.
bit. That's all.
it's a balance to it.
Yeah.
Even
Now, I'm going to say
yep.
something I ain't never said.
Evenly yoked, y'all.
When I was married,
Mhm.
my wife made more money than me,
Okay.
and I wasn't intimidated by it.
Mhm.
Mm.
I was inspired by it. You know what it made me do? I
Grind.
went out and got another job so
Grind
I could make
harder.
Okay.
that sort of two
Okay.
incomes I had
Yeah.
could equal hers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I didn't feel no type of way about it. It
Okay.
motivated me. Said, look, I got to go out here and make
Yeah.
so much money.
Mhm.
She
Mhm.
got her paycheck and put the whole paycheck down and said, baby,
Ooh.
what we got to pay for? So here
Ooh.
I'm
Ooh.
putting my
Ooh.
paycheck down. I'm
Ooh.
like, I'm feeling some
Child.
type of way for myself.
Mhm.
Insecurity that I'm not putting enough down and it's not matching with hers.
Mhm.
So subconsciously I said to
Mhm.
myself, I got to get another job because I need this to be equal as far as finances going down in front.
Yeah.
If a woman puts her whole paycheck down in front of you
Mm.
and you ain't got as much putting to the table, you got to step your game up.
Right.
You got to man up. Instead of feeling intimidated
Yeah.
by her, see what I'm saying? And then again, like I say, usually in relationships, not all the time, whoever the most breadwinner is, sometimes they like to control because of that. You know, and a lot of men are like that. Not all men.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing wrong with being the number one breadwinner, but there is some submissiveness to a relationship when somebody is bringing in all the bread and butter. You have to respect that. So you should want to have some type of submissiveness in you to make
Okay.
them happy because they bringing in all the paper.
Mm-hmm.
See? So it's a balance to that. Give them that glory, but you know, have balance. I'm not saying control you to the point where you can't do nothing, you can have no
Yeah.
friends and
Right.
no life.
Right.
But do it to the respect that you respect what he's doing because now your life is different and easy.
Yeah.
You ain't
I
even gotta
agree.
work.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So
Yeah.
what you do is have those meals prepared. Keep the household up. Anything he needs to do, run around the errands for him because he's bringing all the bread
Yeah.
in and he's giving it to you.
Mhm.
See, so
See, that was the
But-
last part that was important because you
Mhm.
said and he's giving it to you, but what if he's not giving
but
it
now
to
if he
you?
ain't
So
giving it
what-
to you, then that's
He's
different.
not. He's not giving it to you.
That's
He
not
don't
different.
spend quality time with you. He don't take you out. He doesn't no longer dates you.
Mhm.
He don't do sweet things like buy you flowers or a gift just because. You know,
Okay.
he doesn't do any of those
Yeah.
things.
Let's hit the brakes. There's some men out here, and this is what I learned. They don't got a clue about how to be in a relationship with a woman.
Okay.
So you can't blame him for it. He's just doing the best that he can. So what you have to do is teach him. You have to teach your men out here how to treat you without getting loud, without cursing,
Yes.
obscenities and profanities.
Yeah.
You don't need to do it humbly
Okay.
and almost low as a whisper. You ain't gotta be loud to explain. Oh, you can't be treating me that and doing the head and all of that. That's too much. Look, calmly and nicely, break it down and explain to your man what you need him to do
Okay.
Right.
to keep you happy.
Right.
Because
Ooh,
guess what?
okay.
He don't know.
Well, at what
And he
point?
don't got a clue, and nobody teach him nothing unless he go read a book or somebody go tell him to take a class, or
Okay.
maybe he might have some uncle or maybe his father that might give him some leadership from that.
Okay.
But most men ain't got nothing to go on.
Yeah.
But
So
Kat,
you got to teach a man how to
How
treat
to
you
treat
when
you.
he don't know. You can't act up.
so
'Cause
at
it's
what
not
point
fair.
though? At what point in that relationship should we express these things to him like we're trying to teach him? Is that something we just talk about in the beginning, or do we wait until we see that he's messing up and then you kind of pull his coattail and talk to him? Like what? At what point in that
All
relationship?
right, let me ask you this. Are you a kind of woman that let somebody treat you in a way that you don't like and don't say nothing?
No.
Are you a kind of woman to let a man mistreat you and
Absolutely
see
not.
how far he'll go before you say something?
Absolutely not.
All right,
No.
so both of y'all, when a man ain't treating the way you want, you're going to say something right away. You ain't going to let it build up. Some women let it build up. See, and then it becomes more of an issue because we got all this building up and you ain't saying nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
See, so if you say something in the beginning, and like I said, not the finger waving in the pitching of the hand,
Right.
It's in
just in a
delivery.
nice way, say, listen, I don't like the way that you treated me, and I'm going to tell you how I need you to treat me so this relationship can work and we can be happy
Okay.
and have a healthy relationship.
Okay.
I need you to make days, or we can plan the days out together when we go out to eat.
Yeah.
Some days I need to be one. I work hard just like you, baby. And some of these jobs, they stressing me out, and the system like. And when I come home, it's like, and then you ain't showing me no affection. You ain't doing. You got your mind on everything else but me. And I'm out here working just as hard as you are.
Okay.
You know, and you get home first, and you ain't cooking nothing. You waiting for me to get home to
Yeah.
cook. So it's no balance. So you have
Yeah.
to make him get balance and sit down at the table of prosperity and dine with him on how you need him to treat you.
Yeah.
Write it down. Make a list. Give it to him. And then test him on it like you a teacher
Yeah.
and he in class. That's what you need to do.
I mean,
So you know
it
what?
is- it's-
I'm going
it
to
is
teach you. I'm going to
delivery.
teach you. Look,
It's
this
actually
is how
a
you need to do
delivery.
for me. And when the weekends come, you got to plan out where you taking me. Because
Yeah.
I work hard all this week just like you. And when the weekend come, you need to take me somewhere.
Okay. Sound good. What were
Yeah.
you gonna say, Jen?
No. I just said. Sorry. I believe it is all in delivery because you can come across as like she's always nagging me all the time. So if I am going to tell you something or I'm going to talk to you about what you're not doing,
Mm-hmm.
it's a way you have to do it. And it's also a way you can be submissive, but still treat the person like a queen or a king.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If they're being submissive to you, I really think that it's about delivery, because sometimes I find myself, if I'm getting into a discussion about what you're not giving me, I have to check myself, because I don't want to come across as
Mm-hmm.
a nag, or I don't want to come across as, oh my God, every time I turn around she's complaining about what I'm not doing. You know what I mean? So I get silent, and then that creates a divide. So it's you got to find that right method of communicating
Hmm.
to your partner. If you're not happy with the way they're handling you, because we talk about this all the time. I still want you to date me even long after we're married. We got to act like we just met each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's right.
I like those small things, and I want it to remain that. I want it to keep it exciting. Don't just get the cow and then all of a sudden
Right.
you're not even taking the cow out to the pasture. You just leaving the cow in the, you know what I mean? Like, you still want to do those things. You still want
Right.
to have date night, like plan those things, be spontaneous.
You got to teach
Yes.
them.
You know?
Yes.
When you don't know, you got to teach them.
Well, when we teach you, please, keep it up here,
Yeah.
and bring it out and show us that you
Hmm.
have learned.
Yeah.
But Jen, I kind of wanted to go back a little. Well, let me say this first. Sometimes when you need to speak with your partner, your husband, but about things that they're not doing correct, and like Kat is saying, you want to teach them. Sometimes we don't have to always verbalize it, because some people might not really be good with words and with
Hmm.
expressing themselves. Sometimes we might not know how to do it without having a little attitude, because you might be a little disappointed.
Right.
What about writing it down? You
Hmm.
can always write a sweet note.
Hmm.
That's right.
You
True.
can write a sweet note,
Right.
because you don't want your partner to feel like you're backing them in a corner,
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
because you approach them in the wrong way, and it puts them in a defensive mode. Because
Yeah.
once they're
You
in a
don't want to feel
defensive mode,
attacked.
they're not really listening.
Yep.
They sitting up there
That's
planning
right.
and thinking about their
Hmm.
rebuttal, so they're
Yep.
not
That's
really
it.
taking in what you're saying. So sometimes it might be a good idea to write it down, give them a note. Hey, baby, I just want you to read this, take a look at it. We could talk about it.
Hmm.
But just let it, Matt, let it digest a little bit.
Hmm.
That's an idea. But also, Kat,
Hmm.
you also said something about when a woman isn't being submissive and other women are looking in and they seeing that you're not being submissive to that king, and then they can't wait to step in, and then they want to be submissive. I want to challenge women to stop doing that. Okay? If that's somebody else's king and she is his queen, okay? Her crown might be a little crooked for the moment because
Hmm.
she's not perfect, right?
Hmm.
But if you know her, why not pull her coattail and try and help her straighten her crown out, instead of trying to slip in there and cut her off at the knees? That's her king.
Hmm.
Why not look out for each other? Stop being cutthroat.
I know a lot of them.
Really, stop it.
I've learned in relationships with women, especially being married,
Hmm.
that women can be very diabolical
Mm.
when they
Mm.
want
Hmm.
something
Absolutely.
else that somebody else has.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yes.
they see that.
Yep.
Yep.
And then the jealousy
Hmm.
and the envy of what
Hmm.
that you have.
Right.
They don't, and then they'll tell you
Hmm.
things to do to mess up your relationship. Don't be listening to no other women.
Mm.
Hmm.
When you start coming to your relationship with your man, you need to sit down and talk it out, or get you a book and
Hmm.
start reading on how to fix whatever is wrong in your relationship, and sit down and talk with your man about it. Don't be talking to no other woman about what your man ain't doing and what he
Mm.
should be doing. Because all you
Hmm.
do is setting yourself up for her to know all your business. For the first chance she get, she'll try to move in on your man.
Stop doing that, ladies.
And that's the thing,
Hmm.
because misery
Hmm.
loves company.
Hmm.
And then if a woman can have something else that somebody's got, and the first thing she says is, she don't deserve him.
Mm.
Hmm.
And she see, and she
Mm.
observe it, and she said, see, I see how she is with him. She don't deserve him. And the first chance I get, I'm going to get
Oh,
her man.
Yep.
dirty.
Yep.
Down
And
and
men
dirty.
do it too.
Yep.
We
See,
should
so it's
let's.
on both ends. You say, oh, he don't deserve you, baby. I don't know why you with him. And that's the number one thing a man will want on a married woman to make her give in, is when he see things and a man is not treating her like a queen. And she's out here on her grind every day making money and paying bills and bringing money to the table. And he see that and see that you taking advantage of it. And the first thing he wants to do is move in,
Hmm.
Mm.
creep in,
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
slide in.
Hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Isn't there a
And
song about that? Right?
Yeah, I
Which
think
one?
it is.
I can't help but wait till
Hmm.
he get back with him. It won't change.
Yeah, but you heard her singing it, right? You heard her
But
singing it.
all of that, trying to slip in and creep and slide in and
Mhm.
take over somebody's position. Keep in mind, the same way you got him is the same way you're probably gonna lose him.
Absolutely.
Okay?
A lot of women
Yes.
want your man, but they don't want to keep him. They just want to use him. You can
Mhm.
have him. They just want to
Okay.
be the
Okay.
Oh
part-timer.
yeah, that's
They
Okay.
it.
want to be the
Well,
concubine so they can just get the money and they can do what they want
mm,
and have another man on the
mm,
side and another man because you married.
Mhm.
See what I'm saying?
mm,
But then you got women out here that want to take you out of that
mm,
relationship and steal your man and marry him and have him,
mm.
be with her. So you got
Trifling.
two types of women out here that they want a man that's married so that way they don't have to commit
Why? Like,
because there's no commitment into another man that's married to somebody else, so she can do her thing and do what he wants and dare him to say something.
Mhm.
How you
mm,
gonna say something?
mm,
You married? I do what I want to do, and
Mhm.
you better keep giving me money, and you better keep
mm,
buying me, because I'm gonna
mm,
give you this when you want to, and I know you
mm,
got a wife, and when I
mm.
finish with you, go back home to your wife.
I just wonder, people living like that, are they really happy though?
No.
Because you still lying over here, and you got to remember certain things that you said to this person because you got that person and this
Mhm.
person, and trying to play between both of them. He ain't probably happy.
Yep.
This one ain't probably happy, and guess what? I don't believe that she's that happy because you're trying to manage a little bit too much.
Mhm. Spreading
I don't
yourself
believe
way
it.
too
I
thin.
don't believe that the people doing that are really happy. Now, I could be wrong because
Yeah.
I've never had that experience. I didn't live that way. Um, are you really happy? Tell us. We want to know.
We do.
Comment down below.
Hmm.
Below, yeah.
Tell us your thoughts.
Mhm.
Let us know what you feel about what we're saying.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
That's hard for a man because men brought up a certain way that you're
Mm-hmm.
not supposed to be cry and you're supposed to be
Mm.
tough.
Mm.
You're not supposed to show signs of weakness.
Okay.
Mhm.
See, so when men do sometimes give in and express themselves and say how they feel, then the women can take that as a thing of weakness,
Mhm.
and then they'll play against what you say and use that against you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So you got a lot of men that they understand that you can't tell them what you're going through. You can't
Mhm.
go through them to the job is stressing me out. I'm ready to quit. This is ridiculous. So he comes home with that energy from the job back
Mhm.
home to you, and he don't
Okay.
know how to tell you how he's being belittled as a man at this job,
Wow.
and
Mm.
he wants to quit, but at the same time he got to be the provider. So
Wow.
now his soul is hurt now
Mhm.
because he's got somebody else that's another man belittling him and putting him down because the color of his skin.
Mm.
And now
Mm.
to the
Mm.
point where
Mm.
he's actually put you in a position where he's challenged you to quit. Like, yeah,
Okay.
you're going to be this way, or yeah, you're going to quit
Mhm.
because you can't take it. So now you got to deal with it. And then you don't want to tell your wife, and then she can see something ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
And most women do. They will ask, "What's wrong, baby?" And he
Okay.
don't know how. He don't know
Mhm.
how to tell you that this man at the job, just any
Mm.
man, could be a white man, could be a black man,
Mm.
is treating you in a way that's belittling at the job. And
Right.
it takes
Okay.
away from the contour of a man's character when another man puts another man down because of
Mm.
title and a
Mm.
position.
Yes.
And he got to deal with that every day and
Mhm.
then come home to you and act like everything is happy.
So he's
This is
So,
when it's
he's
not.
yes.
bringing all that weight home.
Well, it also takes away from a woman who's been with a man for an extended period of time. I don't know what that extended period of time is. And she's totally committed. He says he's totally committed, but he hasn't married her.
Mhm.
I would love to see our culture make an effort to do something about that.
Mhm.
If you really love the person and you really feel like this person is your heart, your life, if you can't really see yourself being without them, why aren't we getting married?
Mhm.
Okay.
We need to start turning things around for us as a culture so
Mhm.
we can have more. Our culture, we don't even own anything. And I think a
Hmm.
lot of that has to do with also family unison.
Mhm.
We need to be together as a couple to be united so we can have more. It's easier to build with two than it is with one.
Absolutely.
So
Yes, I agree.
listen, why not start marrying your woman?
Mhm.
Let's turn this thing around. Let's catch up with the Asian. They have the highest population of marriage. Black people, black Americans have the lowest rate of marriage, and we have the highest rate of divorce. Hmm.
It's a reason. We need to have classes on
Hmm.
teaching men on how to be in healthy, happy
Yes.
relationships. Maybe I need to write a book. How to
Write
have
one.
a healthy, happy relationship
Mhm.
with
I think
your
it's
spouse or loved one. So here go to your answer. Why men don't want to be married
uh-huh.
now in
Okay.
these days. First of all, you got to look, and you just said it. Look at the statistics.
Mhm.
So you see that women are more masculine now. They're independent now.
Okay.
Mhm.
They're control freaks, and
Mhm.
some are narcissistic. So they scared to
Okay.
death
Mhm.
to
Oh,
get married.
okay.
See what I'm saying? Because you don't know if you dealing with the representative
Mhm.
or the real person.
Okay.
Because you got men and women that come out with this representative of this person that you assume that that person
Mhm.
is until the true colors of who that person is. Then you see what you're dealing with.
I'm
Mhm.
not buying
So
it,
I
Cal.
mean,
I'm not
you
also,
don't
buying
have
it.
to buy it,
I
but
mean,
men are scared to be with someone that they not sure that the woman gonna hurt them. They don't want to get hurt,
mhm.
Okay,
and
but
they
But look,
scared
Caucasian
of
men are
hurt.
men and they're marrying their Caucasian women. Asian men are men
mhm.
and they're
Mhm.
marrying their Asian women.
Mhm.
Latino men are men and they're
Mhm.
marrying women.
Mhm.
It's the black man
But wait a
that is.
We
minute.
got baggage.
Wait a
Men and
minute.
women
Not
got so
only
much
that,
baggage.
but
But when you know it, go
you're
ahead, Jen.
discounting the fact that the ratio of black men to women out that are in jail, that's out
Okay,
here, it's more women.
Yes.
It was more of us
that's
than
a good
them.
point.
Yeah, that's true.
That half of them are in jail.
That's
That is
true.
a good
And not, I
point.
mean, not saying
It's
by their
terrible.
own, but
Hmm.
that's what they target our
Yes,
black
yes,
men.
that's
Them
definitely
they
true.
take them away from us, and we're like living without them, and the ratio is, it's like 3 to 1,
Shoot, it might be higher than that, but what about the
probably.
ones that are in relationships and they've been in
I'm
relationships
getting
for
so excited, my
extended
dress
periods
is
of time and the man is still not marrying the woman?
right.
He's
That's
still
y'all
not
fault
marrying her.
sometimes.
Yeah.
It's
How
your
is it the
fault.
woman's fault?
See, this is what you women
Explain,
have to do.
Ricky.
You have to be assertive, ladies. This is the
Okay.
thing. You have to set up. It's just like when you have a job.
Mhm.
In the first beginning of a job, you
Okay.
have what you call probation period.
Okay.
So in relationships, you have a probation period
Okay.
Mhm.
where you have to see what this man is about.
Okay.
And then what happens then, you got what you call an evaluation.
Mm.
So now after that time, you have to evaluate. And you said, okay, this man fits all the criteria for me to be married to him. Why does he doesn't want to
Mm.
marry me? You need to sit him
Mm.
down and evaluate him and find out. Because there's something going on in his head or something that he went through or some type of experience that gives him baggage where he's scared to get married
Okay.
because of the fact of whatever happened in the past from another woman or
Mhm.
another time and
Okay.
another place that he don't want that to happen again.
Mm.
Mhm.
So you got to sit down and find out what's in his head and what's going on and
Okay.
find out why and evaluate that and give him a time frame. And the first thing you got to do is make sure that he's spiritual.
Mm.
Because if you're not
Absolutely.
getting to the spiritual aspect of another man,
First and
then you
foremost.
ain't no way he gonna marry you because he ain't got no spiritualistic
Mhm.
in him to for it to lead to something that
Mm.
they say couples that pray together
Stay
Stay
together.
stay
stay
together.
together.
Yeah.
Mm.
So first of all, if he's not a spiritual man, then how would you think he's gonna marry? Because he ain't got no connection to himself with God. Why would you
Mhm.
want to marry a man like that anyway?
Right.
See, so the first thing
Mhm.
is building that relationship on a spiritual level
Mhm.
with this man, and you
Okay.
ain't gonna have to try to convince him to marry you because the relationship is built on the spiritual aspect first.
Okay.
He will sit down with you, and you can literally plan it out. See, but if you don't got that spiritual connection with him, there's no way you're gonna think he's gonna want to marry you
Mhm.
because you don't got that most important,
Yeah.
intricate spiritual relationship with him that
Mhm.
he knows that he can't live without you and he don't want to. So
Mhm.
what
Okay.
you women have to do is work on the spiritual part,
Mhm.
the mind.
Mhm.
When you get the mind, the body gonna follow. And once you show them that you are a spiritual woman and you have your own spiritual connection with God, He wants that connection with you. And if He don't want that, you don't need to be with Him. You need to be with a man that wants the same thing
Yes.
mentally, physically, spiritually,
Yes.
financially that you want. That's the man you want to marry. You don't
Mhm.
want to marry a man because he looks good and he got a lot of
Mhm.
money
Mm-mm.
and he can give you everything you want, but he ain't got
Mm-mm.
no spiritual connection within
Mm-mm.
himself or with
Because
God.
money
Right.
can't give you
That
that.
it's not going to work.
Yes.
So the first thing you do before you want a man to marry you, because he look good and he got a lot of money and he got it going on, Find out what his spiritual relationship with himself is
Okay.
with God first.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
See, because
Good
if you're
advice.
not messing with that,
Mhm.
then you ain't gonna ever get married because you ain't even looking into the real ramifications of why this man don't want to marry you. So you're
Okay.
missing the real point.
Okay. And then you have some women who say, "Well, I don't want to get married. I don't ever want to get married." So if you are that woman, then I'm not talking about you, sister. Do what makes you happy. If you really don't want to be married, then that's okay. I'm only speaking about for the women who know that they would like to be married, but they're just not being asked, and they're in relationships for extended periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
If
So
you
yes.
if you build a spiritual relationship
Mhm.
with the man that you want to marry, I promise you it's gonna work
Okay.
because he sees the spiritual side of you
Okay.
and he wants what you have because he has it within himself.
Mm-hmm.
So you match him.
Okay.
See, so if you don't have that, that's the number one thing he's looking at. First of all, you ain't even spiritual. You ain't got no connection. You don't even talk. We can't even have a discussion about no religious aspect. You got Judaism, Buddhism, Hare Krishna, or Jehovah Witness. You got the Muslims. You got all of these isms
Mhm.
out here.
Mhm.
You know, my thing is pick one. You know, all religions have uh, something that can bring you closer to God, something that's higher than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you can pick any religion in the world that you want. If you don't have no faith in it, it ain't gonna work.
Okay.
So first of all, is build that spiritual relationship with the man, and you won't
Okay.
have to worry about him wanting to marry you. Because if you got that, he gonna want to have that with you
Okay.
because
Love it.
it is a spiritual, and then all the physical stuff can come on in.
Ooh,
And then you
yes.
can have a wonderful, healthy, happy relationship
Yes. Amen.
because it's the spiritual divinity 1st,
Mm-hmm.
and then all the physical attributes and everything else second.
Okay.
Right.
I love what you said. Kat, thank you so much for joining us
It's
today.
a pleasure.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Jen, do you have any final
No,
words?
this is interesting. I got so excited, I almost came out my dress.
I think you
So.
almost. This has been wonderful. So this has been another episode of For Real Talkers. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you won't miss
Yeah.
any of our episodes. And please
Absolutely.
turn on those notifications
Yes.
Definitely.
so you can find out every time we put up a new video. And then follow us, right?
On all platforms.
Yes, For Real Talkers.
Well, real people say real things.
Goodbye.
Bye,
Thanks again,
y'all.
Catman Do live at K&L Studio in Harlem.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Harlem World. That was good.
You stop.